Hey guys, welcome to Leadership Week number 3. We have been talking about the 3 things that a leader needs to guard and is responsible for guarding and developing: the heart, the hands, and the head. And I know we diverted a little bit last week. I wanted to talk about the importance of teams, but we're going to dive in and we're going to spend a few weeks here talking first about the heart and a leader's heart. And honestly, it's one of the most important things that you as a leader have the responsibility of guarding and maintaining. So I want to talk today. I want to talk about balance today, and to do that, I want to dive back into the book of Nehemiah. We're going to read from Nehemiah chapter 4, starting in verse 10, just a few verses, just to give you a little flavor of some things that leaders have been wrestling with and dealing with for a long time. Before we dive in, Nehemiah has already begun to build the wall, and it doesn't take very long to start experiencing some challenges, and maybe they'll seem familiar. It says, meanwhile, the people in Judah said, the strength of the laborers is giving out. And there's so much rubble that we can't rebuild the wall. Also our enemies said, before they know it or see us, we will be right there among them and will kill them and put it into the work. Then the Jews who lived near them came and told us 10 times over, wherever you turn, they will attack us. Verse 13 says, therefore, and this is Nehemiah talking, it says, therefore I stationed some of the people behind the lowest points of the wall at the exposed places, posting them by families with their swords, spears, and bows. And after I looked things over, I stood up and said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives, and your homes. So I'm going to pause there. So one of the things Nehemiah discovers right away is that the work is hard, and people begin to have a difficulty balancing things. They immediately begin to have struggle because they're wearing out. They're tired. They're hearing that there are threats against them. In fact, if you were to read on in chapter 5 and even the beginning of chapter 6, there's continual challenges and opposition to rebuilding the wall. And there's always something going on. There's always something wrong. There's not enough food. There's too much debt. There's not enough money. We're too tired. Essentially, the leaders are discovering that the people are having a hard time balancing all the needs that are going on in their world and their life. And balance is one of the biggest things that we struggle with. And as a leader, we struggle with balance. We struggle with balance because there's a lot of things that we want to do. There's a lot of things that people want from us. And it seems like everywhere we turn, somebody has a need. And honestly, everywhere we turn, it seems like as a leader, we're often letting somebody down. So I want to talk a little bit today about balance and how to achieve some balance in our lives. You notice that Nehemiah's response was a vision response. Nehemiah said, I want you today to remember 2 things. I want you to remember the Lord our God. I want you to remember that He's awesome, that He's great. I want you to keep your heart and mind and life focused on what God can provide. And the second, I want you to be focused on your family. In other words, I want you to keep the first things first. As a leader, one of the very first things that we do to establish some balance in our lives is we have to ask the question, who can I not let down today? I'm going to let down a lot of people today, but if there's somebody that I really can't let down, who am I not going to let down today? And that's the priority question. That's a question that leaders really have to wrestle with. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, Jesus said, seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Right now, you're probably hearing some scratching on the door behind me. That's a couple of cats, and they're making noise, and they're irritating me, and you're probably hearing it on this video. But as a leader, I have to make a decision. Am I going to let you down, or am I going to let the cats down? And guess what? The cats get to lose. I need to know what's the priority today. Who may I not let down? Matthew 6:33, Jesus said, don't let down your relationship with God. It's one of the challenges for leaders is we get so busy, we end up neglecting our own spiritual walk with God. We don't maintain healthy boundaries. As a leader, each day of your life, you're going to wrestle with the temptation to go and do busy work and keep other people happy and let down the most important things in your life, which is first, your relationship with God. And you need spiritual rest. You need time each and every day to be in God's Word, to be praying, to rest. Second, you need physical rest. You need time to maintain your own physical body and your health. And last, you need what I call family rest. Your family pays a toll for you to be a leader and to be in ministry. And so you need to maintain that. You need to have strict boundaries that you just won't cross, because you know that you cannot let down your relationship with God, and you can't let down the closest people in your life. Your family cannot suffer because of the leadership that you have. You have to find some way to protect them. Now, will you ever have a moment that your family will say, hey, we're done with you, Dad, we're done with you, Mom, we don't need you anymore? No, you're not going to have that. They're always going to want more of your time, just like your work's going to want more of your time. But it's important for you as a leader to identify, how do I make sure that I have a healthy relationship with God and maintain healthy family life? So it's number one, as a leader, I need to ask the question, who can I not let down today? The second way to achieve to achieve balance in my life is I need to wrestle with and answer the question, what's the one thing that I and only I can do? So the truth is that God has given you a spiritual gift, a stewardship. He's given you a calling that you can't really delegate. There are a couple of things, at the most, one or two things that you and only you can do. And so it's important for you to identify those and make sure that those are things that you don't let go of today. And the rest of the things you can actually begin to allow other people to take. David said, I've calmed and quieted myself. He said, I'm like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child, I am content. And what I get from that is that David says, I understand that there's some things that I'm responsible for, some things that God has given me, and there's a whole lot of things that are not in my wheelhouse, a whole lot of things that I don't have to worry about, a whole lot of things I can leave in the hands of God. As a leader, the second great question I need to wrestle with is, what is the one thing, maybe two at the most, but what is the one thing that I and only I can do? So that's how I get some balance. Number one is I ask, who can I not let down? And number two is, what's the one thing that I and only I can do? And I'm going to share with you a couple ones. I think looks like here in my notes, 5 more things that I think are really, really helpful. I don't think they're on the same level as those first 2 things, but let me go through them really quickly. Number 3, who do I need to become? These are things that you're working on. I think a leader always has something that they're working on, something they're taking continual little small steps in. And I think that your calendar and your life should reflect that. Number 4, get comfortable with saying no. Saying I'm not able to do that, I can't do that, I can't fulfill that. But you can. So learn how to say no, but yes for somebody else. In other words, sometimes people are going to come to you and they're going to want you to make a decision, or you to come to their meeting. And it's okay for you to say, no, I don't think I can do that. But you know what? I know you can. And I give you the freedom and I give you the authority to make this decision. Number 5, learn to say I'm sorry. It's okay. You're going to let people down, and people are going to be disappointed in you because you did not show up at their event. You did not accomplish their task. You did not fulfill their expectations. And as a leader, it's okay for you to say, I'm sorry. I apologize that I wasn't able to get that done. I apologize that I let you down. And once you said you're sorry, to let it go and not wear it all day long. And sometimes we as leaders, we end up wearing other people's priorities. And even when we let them down, we carry it all day long, and we can't. Say you're sorry and let your yes be yes and your no be no. Number 6, handle things once. Handle emails once. Handle pieces of paper once. Don't keep a high stack of things you're going to get to one day. Throw things away. Get them off of your desk. You don't have to keep them forever. You don't have to have a huge filing system. If you're not going to do something with it now, get rid of it. And number 7, listen, here's the deal. Everybody procrastinates. It's a lie that only some people procrastinate. Everybody does. And leaders, good leaders, learn to procrastinate well. There's some things on your plate. There's some ideas that you have. There's some plans that you treasure and I think are incredibly special that really don't need to be done today. they can be put on tomorrow's list, and then tomorrow they can be bumped to the following day. You will continue to procrastinate things. That's what leaders do. Leaders just make sure that, number one, they are serving the right person. They are not letting the wrong person down today. A leader is making sure that today that they are doing the one thing that only they can do. A leader's making sure that they are striving to become the thing that they know that they're supposed to become in the next season. They're saying no so that somebody else can say a yes. They are saying sorry. They're handling things once, and they are procrastinating. So, and there's a few tips to balance. These are things that I have not actually fully accomplished, but they're things I'm continually working on, and they really are helping to bring some balance in my own life, and I hope for you as well. God bless you guys.